not just with the Celtics losing, like who cares, regular season game. But you sort of start to wonder, given the recent play and how it looked and how it's looked. And I guess some of the comments, of the team itself coming out of these games is starting to add up to the point where you go, what's going on? Is something going on? So that's where we begin. Mazz, Murray, alongside from our Town Fred Tire Studios. Hi, guys.
Yo.
Good, you.
Thoughts on the Celtics, Mazz?
I don't think there's anything to see here, Mike. These games don't matter. They're just coasting. There's nothing to see here. You guys are making it all up. This don't mean nothing. Does anyone believe it now? What are they, 12-9 in their last 21 games, 2-3 in the last 5? Pick any interval in between those two bookends and you get the same crap. It's been this way for a while. So at what point, see, this is the problem when you win. All of a sudden, everyone says, well, the regular season doesn't mean anything more. They're good enough. They're going to win it again. You think you just show up and win it again. That's how it's going to happen. You don't have to put in the effort. You don't have to put in the commitment. You don't have to play together. You don't have to do any of that. Drives me bananas. Bananas. Something's wrong there. Okay? I don't know what it is.
You think something's wrong beyond just a regular season, mid-season malaise?
I do. The commentary speaks to it.
So you think there's something more?
Yeah. And now last night has my antenna up. Not just from Missoula. You have Jason Tatum saying we're going through some S right now. Kristaps Porzingis, his was we played with no spirit, with no personality. Like, this isn't just mid-season malaise. We're just waiting to get to the All-Star break. Something's up. And if you watch them play, you can tell something's up as well. There's now twice, or 3 times really, in the last couple of weeks, after one of these hell losses, you're like, well, that's the worst loss of the year. Now it's 2 in a week, really, too. So something's up here. And I don't know what it is, but I don't know. My gut tells me something's up.
Murray, it's 2 in a week, and they should have lost the
to
other
New Orleans.
one.
Yeah, right.
They should have lost that game. They wanted to give that game away.
These are wretched teams. These are lottery teams.
So now I know I am punishing them for something they didn't do, which is lose the game. But nonetheless, the Pelicans combined, those two teams, the Pelicans and the Raptors, have 20 wins on the year. They each have 10. They are horrible teams. Horrible. So now look, and Mike, when I say something's wrong, Jaylen Brown last night looked disinterested to me or disconnected. Maybe he's hurt. Maybe there's an issue with someone else on the team. It could be any one of a million things. I'm not telling you it's one thing or another. I'm just telling you they were never really in control of that game last night at all.
And not just that. I mean, there was, I don't know, it was like 6 points, 8 points, like in that range, late third, where at any moment you just say, okay, they're going to, go on a run here for 4 minutes. They're going to put together a 4 or 5 minute stretch and put the game away. And they never really came close to doing it on either end. I mean, they were giving up like sort of easy, uncontested baskets on simple pick and rolls or high screens, guys wide open. They're missing free throws. Their 3-point percentage was okay, but there were possessions where it was just clang fest, and it's just like it was. They were never really close to just giving you those 5 minutes to put the game away against a wretched team. Mm-hmm. So the offense to me looks like it's kind of broken, or they've just really lost their way there. But I never really thought about something wrong. There being something wrong with the team until the post game. Till I heard of driving in to the TV, and I had us on, and Joe Murray and Kendra, and they played the post-game show. Joe Mazzulla's post-game press conference, and that's what we just played you there, where he mentioned the key is sticking together, and we have to stick together. And that immediately got my antenna up, just like, Mazz, if you remember the Bruins, and Jim Montgomery answered a question very similar in the first week or two of the season. And he said, well, the most important thing is sticking together. I remember with Mazzulla, with Montgomery saying, oh, we're already talking about sticking together. It was just a flag. And same with this. They have the second best record in the East. They're healthy. They're fine. Why do they need to focus on sticking together? Unless they're not totally together.
Right, unless something is driving them apart in some way, shape, or form.
And then I'll just play Robbie Buckets, Robbie Snyder, our producer out there at NBC Sports Boston, pulled this quote, which I remember it was over the break, the Christmas break. It was Derek White after a loss to Indiana. And I think they had lost 3 or 4 games. But when it was the second of the 2 against Indiana, right?
They blew them out in the first
it
one.
was
Blew 'em
Sunday game.
blew 'em out in the first, and they lost in the second, which is like kind of common, right? It's like, even if you're much better than a team, those back-to-backs, a lot of times it's a split just because of the nature of the thing. Except the Celtics lost the second, and Derek White came out and said this.
This might be the toughest stretch that I've been on since I've been here in the Celtics, so I'm just going to bring us closer together. Just got to know that everybody's got their best interest in mind and just have each other's back. And so I just think it's going to bring us closer. There's ups and downs through every season, so we're in one of those downs, and we just got to figure it out together.
Okay, so like the toughest stretch since he got there. I mean, they just lost 3 or 4. Their record at the time going into that game was 23-8, and they lost to Indiana, and then it became 23-9. But they were still the 2 seed in the East. They're fine. Toughest stretch I've ever been in here. Maybe this will bring us closer together. The losing will bring us closer together, implying you're not close together in the first place. Like, why would you need to be brought together?
I mean, all of this commentary speaks to that famous Pat Riley quote of the disease of me, when personal agendas start taking over the team concept. Like, that's what this all sounds like. So what the hell's up?
And Derek White's talking about everyone's best interest and we have to have each other's back. Like that,
right.
I remember hearing the quote over Christmas and saying, okay, that,
Interesting, but
I didn't
keep
think.
an eye on it. Yeah.
But now that you put it in context of Mazzulla, stick together, and now that you really look back and think of it, Derek White, like that's a heavy comment for really what should be a nothing loss. Why so serious? And then I don't know if you want to tie in the way he's played recently, which is
he's
like,
been a shell of himself.
Yeah, this is as bad as he's played since he got here.
fallen off a cliff. Last night, 1 for 7 from beyond the line, 6 points, minus 29. His last 4 from beyond the line, 2 of 11, 11 points. 0 of 6, 3 points. 0 of 5, 6 points. Last night, 1 of 7, 6 points. In his last 3 games, he's 1 of 18 from beyond the line. Last 4 games, minus 8, minus 9, minus 1, minus 29. So what's up there? What I noticed, Maz, what stood out to me watching the game, I had the sound down, so it's just totally left up to me. Maybe because I just can't. I assume they were bitching about the refs.
How dare you?
But the amount of run that Peyton Pritchard was getting.
He played a lot last night.
Well, why was he out there so much? Is it because Derek White's fallen off a cliff? Or Drew Holiday, too? Drew Holiday, 0 for 3 from beyond the line last night, 12 points, minus 13. Drew Holiday in his last 3 games from beyond the line, 1 of 2, 1 of 4, 0 of 3. So that's 2 of 9. Last 3 games, minus 18, minus 1, minus 13.
Between he and Horford, I'm just starting to chalk that up to them showing their age a little bit.
And so Pritchard's getting more run. I don't know. Okay, so like all of a sudden Pritchard's in there more than you would think. Is related? I don't know. Feels like the offense has lost its way. Porzingis, that doesn't feel like that's as seamless as it once was.
Definitely not.
Like kind of getting in the way or what? Like I don't know. Like the effort thing for me is easy to explain away. You just let go of the rope. It's a long season. They played a crap ton of basketball. They're tired or they're disinterested or all those things. So they've let go of the rope on defense or rebounding, things like that. That's sort of an easy one. I feel like they've lost their way offensively. And I blame the 3-point shot. Too adherent to the 3-point shot. Now they've tried to go inside a little bit more. And now between those two things, they've kind of lost who they are and what they're supposed to be doing. And they've just sort of lost the rhythm on offense. But I don't know. Maybe it's something more. Now we're all talking about sticking together. So what's going on?
I mean, again, I can't tell you. I don't know what it is. I can't give you a specific answer in terms of, but I'm just telling you that I feel like it's been this way for a while. So, and I don't know if it's as simple as focus or like I was just looking as you were talking and said, did I miss something here? Like, is Tatum shooting more? Is Jason Tatum taking more shots? Not really. Still, last year he was 19. This year he's 20. It's not like he's taking 24. It's not like it went up by some ridiculous number and you say he's hogging the ball. I don't feel that, but when they are in any sort of funk like this, I feel like they don't play together. So it's not as there's no flow to their offense.
So injuries, no. I mean, here's the stat that blew me away again from Robbie. 10th time last night that the Celtics had their full lineup. Only the 10th time. Porzingis missed the first part. There's been people out, but 10 times they've had everybody. Fully loaded roster. In those games, 5-5 with a minus 8.9 net rating, which, again, I don't even know quite what that means, but I get it, kind of. But so even when they're fully loaded, they're even more mediocre than when they aren't. So what does that say?
I mean, the easy thing would be autopilot. They're just showing up, rolling out the balls, and think you're going to win.
So that would be a good story. Like, that would be the good news. Like,
right.
that would be a that's what you're rooting for.
Mm-hmm. Because that's easily fixable.
Right, that is.
If you're a Celtics fan, that's what you want. They're disinterested, long season, and that's bound to happen, and it happens, and you're just going through it. And nothing to see here. We're fine. And that's obviously what you should be rooting for. If it's something else, then okay, then it's something else.
Some sort of locker room issue.
Something else. And the commentary's starting to build that you have to wonder about that. When they all start talking about sticking together. And Derek White with that comment a couple of weeks ago. Like, that feels a little much for just a simple loss at the end of December. So what's going on there? Let's just throw some stuff out there.
Okay, so I'll give you one. The other day, Dakota from Braintree, who calls the show all the time, called in with a report about Mike Vrabel's contract discussions with the Patriots. I almost said dispute, but we don't know it was a dispute. But in Felger Mazz fashion, I wanted to turn it into that. In any case, he called about Vrabel's contract, and then in so doing, Dakota said, you remember I gave you information 20 years ago, and he did. He told me once that he had heard something about Alex Rodriguez and the Red Sox. I checked it out. It was right.
So Dakota's your source on this theory.
So, no, I'm just going to tell you what Dakota tweeted.
Okay.
Okay? All I'm telling you is that he's been right before.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So this was a couple hours ago. Breaking huge Celtics news. I'm here. So listen.
Breaking sports news.
Stop it. You do it. It is a little dangerous to be citing a listener as a source.
I agree. 11:50 a.m. I'm just telling you what he said. I'm hearing that the team may be forced to trade a star player, i.e. Jaylen Brown, to alleviate a luxury tax bill as bids start to come in to buy the team. Now, the Boston Globe reported earlier in the week that 1 week from today, the 23rd of January, the Celtics will accept first bids on the sale of the franchise. 1 week from today. Dakota continues, Celtics will have to pay $513 million next year, including $280 million in luxury tax. If the bids come in low, expect the trade. And I'll stop there. Isn't there some logic there?
I'll give you my thoughts here in a minute after I hear Murray's.
Okay.
I got a real crack.
So, but hold on. So just again, to sum up, that while the bids aren't coming in where they thought, I mean, let's just start with that. They haven't officially taken any bids, but don't tell me there hasn't been discussions, right, about the number and what they're going to get. And as we discussed when the news came out about the sale, the books are not great. And in fact, it's who's ever buying the team, you're asking them to take a pretty healthy loss year in, year out for the time being, that because of their payroll, and Wick paid everybody, and the luxury tax ramifications, the actual payroll, when you include the taxes, is massive. And they don't own the building, and there's no way for them to come close to breaking even. And so is that hurting the sales price, and will that then, cause the old man who's running the thing to say, we got to clean up the books to increase the sale? That sounds totally logical. No matter where that comes from, okay? So there's one. Murray, what do you got?
All right, so this is a real crackpot theory. I don't have brown check marks. This is me going with my gut and thinking the worst of people. They've been a mess for about a month. A month ago, Jaylen Brown's mother's house gets broken into in Wellesley. You lived there. High crime area, Mike?
No.
Thank you. So, I don't know, does a teammate have, dirtbag friends? I have dirtbag friends. To my knowledge, and I just did a quick search, too, there's been no arrest. They're still investigating the thing. It happened while they were away. Does someone in that locker room have dirtbag friends that knew, they're away? Oh, I know who's got some stuff.
So that is a crackpot theory. Here's what I
But
know.
all the commentary has gone down in a month. Jaylen Brown's been in a funk for a month. I mean, the timeline kind of fits. Again, crackpot theory. But again, it's just me thinking the worst of people. Like, I don't know. Like, the way they're talking, something's up in that locker room. Maybe someone's got dirtbag friends. They did the old B&E on Jaylen Brown's mother's house. He knows, or he suspects something, and he's pissed, and it's a mess in that locker room.
That would be messy. And that is, again, crackpot theory. So what is it? I mean, I have no idea. To me, I've said many, many times before, usually it's one of two things. It's money and women. Like that's
right.
That's usually the crux of it. And money and in the sporting context can be defined in a lot of different ways. Someone has to get traded for financial reasons, and someone's out, or they're vying for playing time, and they're cutting into my money because I'm losing playing time. So money is a sort of there's a big tent there that you could say money, but it's usually one of two things when teams have a problem. It's one. So that's all I know. The thing about the sale is, let's see. I have no idea, but how could it?
It's a hell of a coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a coincidence. It's also like you just can't assume there's going to be no impact. Like I think fans have this thing that, well, that's separate. That's the business. And nothing to do with the roster and the players. And no, like I don't know if you can safely assume that. A lot of things start with ownership, and basketball teams are small units. It's not like it's a big, baseball organization with 8 minor league teams and, hundreds of players, or a football team with 60, 90 players, whatever. It's like they're kind of tight little units. There's only 12 guys and 8 who play, and they're just not that big. And you change the owner in some way, shape, or form. Is that going to impact you? And what's to say the new owner is going to want to pay through the nose $500 million a year just to field or court, however you say that, the team.
Correct.
So, that's a big ask for the next guy. And if you can do it, great. But what if the prospective owners are looking at that and saying, that's untenable. Mm-hmm. I can't give you $6 billion if I'm going to be losing $250 million my first 5 years out of the gate. So they've got to adjust those numbers.
Exactly right. Look, I hate to give silly analogies because it's on a micro level. You buy a house, inspection or no inspection? Well, I don't know. The deck needs repair. Okay, fine. We'll fix the deck. No inspection or inspection. Okay, you fixed it. You follow me? There's going to be... So I think now this is probably where they are. We're ready to make an offer, but we want $6 billion. You're not getting $6 billion. Not with a $250 million luxury tax next year. You want to trade someone? We'll give you $6 billion. Then we can talk. So my guess is that kind of back and forth has happened. Who in their right mind, and I say, it could be someone, but if you were going to buy the Celtics and they want $6 billion, and you say, well, wait a minute, you're going to give me, as you said, $250 million in debt every year, and you want the $6 billion? I'll give you $5 billion if I'm taking on the debt. But you got to get rid of the debt, then you can get the $6 billion. So they might be at that sort of pressure point.
And it may be none of this. It just may be human nature. People, where the league it's a different league. We are no longer in an era, I don't think, or not recently, we haven't been, where you get good and you stay good and it's your time, it's your era. Celtics, Lakers, Pistons, Bulls, Spurs, Warriors. It's like you win once, you win multiples, it's your half decade, and that's the way it works. We're not doing that right now. Bucks, Nuggets, Celtics. All in 3 years. I think we've had 6 different champions in the last 6 years. Is that right?
I think that's right.
Something like that. So maybe it's just simply the nature of the beast. And just to assume that they just roll out the balls and this is your time. It doesn't quite work that way in the league anymore. And maybe it's just as simple as that. But there is something.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Celtics analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.